Pig. Feels like I was just casting 10 hours ago, but we are here and we are ready. In the top right here, our New Zealand/UK import showing us brilliant games. Let's see how he performs today. This is RiSk.
And down here in the bottom left-hand side, in the red, representing Legacy, it's NXZ.
God, I'm excited for this one. It's also been a minute since I've seen a really good high-level ZVZ, so in that regard, it feels like ZVZ is a fresh experience for me. So I didn't get to stay up for a whole lot of the group that had nothing but Zergs in them, except for one that we had for Oceania, but the ZVZs for me in the tournaments that at least I've been casting have been a little few and far between. There's been a lot more sort of, Terrans and Protosses and Zergs playing against them.
Yeah, I kind of had the same thing. I see it in GSL and I go, ooh, this is so rare, especially in GSL because there's just not that many Zergs. But it is in general something which I'm just excited to see where the strategies go. And so far, neither of these players opting for that spawning pool wall off. I feel like everyone's got so much practice against the old drone pool 12 pool, it might actually be gone. And I'm really happy about that, Maynard. I'm sick of seeing drones pulled across the map and spine crawlers built in each other's bases.
Well, there are a couple builds that I feel like are going to start to fall off in popularity. I think that's one of them. I think a depth printer is right around the corner. I think that one's about to be taken behind a shed and shot because Zergs are getting really good against dealing with that. It was actually the only time that Rex got a map on Nice was when Nice tried to give him the depth printer. And he was like, oh, I've played against this 15,000 times. Let me just do my very calculated response and just annihilate it.
And I think it is something where, something sees a bit too much use. It gets a lot of practice against it. Recently from NXZ, we've seen Roach Baneling come out. We've seen him do like the Speedling pressure into really quick Roach follow-up, trying to get Banelings with it. We've seen Nidus Worm off about 50-55 drones from him with Roach speed. In this game so far, does seem like the Ling speed advantage. It's about 11 seconds ahead for NXZ. So that's going to give him a bit of a boost on that. The third bases go down around the same time. To me, though, it kind of looks like RiSk is just adopting a super defensive stance. I wholly expect him to get a reasonably quick third queen, Baneling nest, and just kind of camp out and look to be unbreakable. He knows he's going to be playing with a bit more latency here. And I think just having a bit of creep connecting the natural in the third, always having an extra Baneling or two at home, maybe an extra queen. These are all probably going to be the most important recipes or ingredients, I should say, to allow RiSk to just be nice and solid in the early mid game.
I actually feel like RiSk's power is just because he has like so much skill in the game that his power and his go-to has been usually those safe standard builds. We are actually seeing the exact same build from both players, by the way. We expected maybe NXZ to be a little bit more of a wild child, but just going for that 230 hatchery, getting the Baneling nest in the natural, it's just all stock standard. They're droning up quite a bit as well. No one's really like, pushing the accelerator on the Ling button. They're like, all right, defensive Banelings. We're just going to protect the thirds. Just take it easy, get out Evos. A very quiet ZVZ so far.
Yeah, not even like the 12 Zergling pressure. There's like the really light one where you're like, here's 2 Banelings and 10 Zerglings. It's very light. It's not a real commitment. But you kind of do it just to create some action and get a bit forward. NXZ kind of has this small force at home. RiSk actually gets the scout in whilst denying NXZ scouts. So, I mean, this is RiSk. He's an EU player. He looks up to Serral, and he's going to micro that Zergling as much as he can. He wants to keep the Serraling alive in the base and checking. He sees drones popping out. These are all signs that there's nothing for him to worry about offensively. He goes, yep, quick Evo chamber, drones popping out of the hatcheries, all normal on your side of the map. That gives me a free pass to drone up as well.
So we are seeing some small differences between the two players now with the lair on the way for NXZ, but RiSk going for just a hatchery tech. Roach Warren +1 attack, so delaying his lair a little bit, starting to build quite a few Lings though. And the Overlord's on the way for RiSk. Are you feeling like he's going to start making some units here?
Yeah, so looks like it's going to be that committed attack. I like the kind of drones on the third as well. He really gives off the image here.
Yeah, it looks like a real third.
Oh, yes. So he's killed those Zerglings. NXZ's like, oh, that's a bit odd. Blows up the Banelings on 2 Zerglings. Oh, okay. It's all a secret. No lair. There's going to see a massive Roaches come out, a huge commitment. And it's the job of this Ling Bane just to keep NXZ busy for the next minute. NXZ trying to go up to the lair, the mutas. He's got that +1 melee on the way, and this timing is perfect against this style. NXZ's been loving the Mutalisks, but he loves getting the upgrades. He doesn't rush to them, and that means there's a window here. 13 roaches, Ling Bane keeping NXZ busy. NXZ has no scouting on the other side of the map. He's not making an overseer, even though he's got a lair ready. He's just too busy here. Those roaches are going to be a big surprise.
Oh, they certainly are, and by going for the spy here, NXZ is starting to dig his own grave. So that roach attack, it doesn't look like there's any defenses here for NXZ. In fact, he's pulling his drones around to avoid 2 Banelings, but another couple Banelings show up and kill 10 drones, finishing off those deep red drones there. Ugh, a bad start here for NXZ's defense. And he's droning at the moment. Oh, no.
His Lings were stuck behind his queen in his natural wall the whole time. He was trying to bring them up to help micro against the Banelings. And I think I could even see him deselecting Zerglings. They were trapped behind the queen in the wall the whole time. And he was like, where are my Zerglings? A rough game for NXZ.
Oh, man, that is super, super unfortunate. It's just one of those games where you just get the build order lost because you didn't scout enough. It's unfortunately the TLDR of that game. And it hurts to happen, but even at the highest level, it does happen from time to time. It's a tough start to the series, but luckily it is a best of 5. He's got a few lives left to spend here to try and get back in this.
Yeah, he was trying to do it. I was just quickly rewinding the replay. They're having a cheeky look at NXZ's camera, and I'm like, yeah, he was wondering where those Zerglings were. And the queen, of course, on hold position in the wall. A great piece of insurance from NXZ, but I think in hindsight, would have loved to have that second queen out front, taking down those Banelings. If he only had the information that roach attack was coming, may have indeed been able to hold on. So unfortunate there for him, but a really nice attack from RiSk, and hats off to him for the build choice. This is a later roach attack, but it's one that's very hard to see coming. Like we said, the drones already on the 3rd base. Just a handful of drones, but it makes everything look very normal. You've got the evolution chamber upgrading and kind of wobbling the whole time. Your opponent sees that, and they assume things are just going to be straightforward. And this is just it's the window, right? The spy is not super fast. The mutas aren't going to be out. So even if NXZ gets wind of this a bit early, what's he going to do? He's got to put down spines, make a ton of Zerglings. He's got to try to put down maybe his own Roach Warren. No matter what, it's going to make his transition into the Mutalisks from here super awkward.
Yeah, it was just unfortunately the incorrect choice. Not too many highlights from that game because that's kind of the alpha and the omega, the beginning and the end to that game was just that whole not seeing it coming. Now maybe you can evacuate the 3rd base, build like a bunch of spines in the natural and just turtle, but you're gonna take a ton of damage, and then your recovery, like you said, into mutas is gonna be a little strange. We're gonna get into game 2 very shortly. Just gonna take a short break. When we return, game 2 between NXZ and RiSk. We'll see you then.
I screw everything up. Will someone bring me back down? Bring me back down. Will someone bring me back down? Bring me back down. Whoa, 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 whoa. 'Cause I just can't get enough. Whoa, whoa, I can't wait to start lighting up the crowd as I dive through the maze, heading right to the stage. I'ma serve up the mic like a rice bolognese, smoking hot like molten rock. Folks are broken off when I blow the spot like soda pop. Once I've been shaking, I'm the man if I can't be so brazen. Steep in the technique I propel, so the people jump up from the seats and the smell and amazing before anybody can safely afford and the fee that you pay at the door. My rhythm rolls till it overflows, and I get so funky you can hold your nose. So if you wanna come see me rip it again, you better come now or you won't get in. It's jam packed. We're gonna light the fuse, stand back. We ain't trying to lose. Then I move like a fuse when it's crackling. No ego trip or loaded clip. No keys to flip or bones it gets volatile with finesse. Hip hop style at its best. When I go up to my act, play shakes till the roof is cracked. Make the DJ booth collapse. So when I'm done, get moving fast. Front to back, inside to side, it's wall to wall and it's happening live. But man, I ain't tripping if you should leave. I understand if you need a little room to breathe. It's jam packed. We're gonna light the fuse. Stand back. We ain't trying to lose. Stand back. We're gonna light the fuse. Stand back. We ain't trying to lose. One more time, break it down now. Woo! Give me the match. Countdown. 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna light the fuse. We ain't trying to lose. We're gonna light the fuse. Come on, we ain't trying to lose. We're gonna light the fuse. Come on, we ain't trying to lose. We're gonna light the fuse.
Welcome back, guys. We are going to continue this series in just a moment. What a quick one-sided game to start things off, but I think we're just getting warmed up there. RiSk with a clean victory. I think we got some more lengthy games coming in. I don't think they're all going to be that simple.
That's right. We're going to shake off the first game jitters here. People are just getting ready. Build order win and start things off with no problem. Let's have a much closer game 2 here with a few more strategies to be shown. NXZ seems to still have a fair bit of confidence, a lot of energy inside of him. Was chatting to him in the lobby a little bit. He is keen to show what he's got. And now is the time, of course, currently 1 down in the series. I'm a believer, man. I believed all the way to game 3 when he was up against Probe. He's got that magic. He's got that X Factor. He's got that special sauce, which is why I'm such a fan of this fine gentleman.
You don't get as many copy passes as this man without being worth it. I mean, I don't think there has ever been such a density of copy passes around one player in all of StarCraft 2. Maybe other than maybe Cyril, maybe Juanito, but other than that, I mean, NXZ, he's got fan support for a reason, and it's not just the fist bumps, it's the plays as well, it's the strategies. He's got a chance to bring it back. It's a best of 5, of course, as we are in the latter stages here of the regional. And we're going to be diving into map number 2 on Eternal Empire.
Certainly are a bit of a bigger map, but that just means raw rush distance for RiSk's Roaches. I'm just joking. We'll see what he's got for us. All right, locking on to the Insano cam. In the top right here, representing Legacy, representing Australia, he is NXZ.
And down here in the bottom left, representing Lions, it is RiSk.
I hear that his fans get pretty frisky for him.
That is true. That's actually quite true. Of course, Friskies is a brand of cat food, but you know, that's in no way related.
As long as it's got fiber and carbohydrates, food's food, right?
That is true. And Zerg units, of course, do actually feed themselves simply through creep spread. They absorb nutrients up through it. And,
it's true. Creep is it is actually canon that creep is catnip for Zerglings.
It basically is, yeah. Those Carbot videos of the Zerglings kind of frolicking around the hatchery next to the spawning pool are indeed lore. Of course, this is a big map, and you mentioned Eternal Empire, more rush distance for RiSk's Roaches. Well, lately I feel like I've seen at least, I don't know, maybe 80%, 4 out of 5 Zerg vs Zergs on this map. There's a Nidus. One player opts for a Nidus. And the cool thing is, even if it doesn't work, that is true. Spy is very common as well. I feel like if the Nidus, even if it doesn't work, it goes on a lot of the time. The game can like continue, because any counterattack takes a while. And you can even use like harassing Nidus worms, right? You're just throwing them up and just keeping your opponent pinned back while you recover back at home and get your upgrades and your tech going. And I mean, yeah, as you mentioned, the mutas. I mean, I love those muta baneling styles on this map. Just never go past mutas. Just keep getting more and more and more, and just try to break the other player.
And we did see NXZ try to at least go towards that position, but the Spire didn't even complete, I feel, in game 1. This game gives you a little bit more room to breathe. So we do have, you know, pretty mirrored builds again so far from both players, with RiSk going for the 3rd base. NXZ, same deal. Just a couple Lings escorting them. So another, I like to just call it a bit of a gentleman's agreement, you know. Back in Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm, it was like the, you know, the hatchery first. But in modern parlance, Legacy of the Void, current day ZVZ, it is the 3-hatch, baneling in the wall, That is the gentleman's agreement ZVZ opener.
Oh, two queens coming out
queens.
real early here for NXZ.
And they want that overlord.
Yeah, pushes back the scouting there for RiSk. RiSk does see the third hatch though, and I mean the third hatchery, it's a production facility, right? It's an extra barracks, it's an extra gateway essentially for Zerg. So that is always the thing that you've got to kind of keep in mind there. It's not necessarily a huge investment in of itself. So just going to be going for that now. Casting our minds back on last game, as this looks very similar to that last game. Maybe a couple more Zerglings for NXZ, but he did that last game as well. I think the missing piece was NXZ just being a little bit greedy. He was kind of assuming what RiSk was doing. And I think that hole in his opening easily plugged by him just being a little more aggressive with his own Zerglings. You know, make a few more Zerglings than Banelings. And I'm not talking right now, but I'm talking when you're going for that Spire. At that point, make sure your Lings and Banes are running around at their third base. I mean, he went 6 gases. He went right up to 60 drones, 65 drones, without really checking what was up. And that was definitely being way too greedy. Now, these cheeky Banelings coming in here for RiSk, they get found.
Yeah, and the queen's kind of off creep a little bit, so she needs to get back on that carpet to chase these things down. They're going to get in that drone line.
Oh, my lord.
Oh, no.
She got 1 of her 2 attacks out on the last one. It survived with like 3 hit points, but that's enough. That's all it needed.
It's already a rough start. And look, the third is actually quite naked here, Pig. The army of NXZ, I think, was in the naturals coming out now. He's lost 10 drones total, 7 in the main, 3 at the third. Very rough start for NXZ.
Yeah, just light pressure here coming out of RiSk. Just little moves, very small moves, poking, seeing if there's any openings. And he's already keeping NXZ so occupied. Now, keep in mind, NXZ's done a good job droning. He was being quite greedy himself, so it is still equal in the workers. Both sides taking on up. +1 range on the way here for NXZ. So I wouldn't say he's actually far behind or anything like that just yet. But just feels like the momentum's there for RiSk. And this is something you got to be careful of letting him control the game too much, because his drone count now starting to grow. He's got a very quick roach speed. Now, RiSk hasn't started an evolution chamber upgrade, and that's got me wondering here. That, I feel like it seems to be a mistake.
He's got anyway getting +1 now. So, and also Overlord speed. So just to give him a little bit more map control. And I'm actually with you, man. You know, in game 1, cast your mind back, you're talking about like that dozen Ling poke. I want to see that pretty consistently from both players here, because they can just flip on a dime and whip out something wild. RiSk's going to drop that Spire here behind the Roach upgrades. And this leads me to believe, like, is he actually going Roaches here, or is this a bamboozle?
I mean, it's a weird one, because he's being so greedy as RiSk. I think RiSk feels like he's got such a good read on NXZ that he thinks he can kind of just get away with anything right now. Like, he is definitely going Roaches because he's going OV speed, but it's just the fact that he went right to 66 drones. He's going to keep scouting and seeing all these Roaches out. If he sees, yeah, that's a pretty big blob of Roaches already for NXZ. I mean, NXZ's committing. I'm actually surprised there isn't a Nidus Worm, because this feels very committed from NXZ.
There it is. There is the Nidus Worm. So
yeah, he's got to commit. He's got to go really committed, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, now is the time when the Spire gets up and the mutas are starting to get produced. That's when, RiSk starts to basically not have anything that can deal with him anymore. You know, the Roaches are not going to give you map control against a big flock of mutas. But the Roaches can just straight up kill you if you don't have enough defenses. RiSk, however, though, did catch this move out from NXZ and is starting his defenses, already connecting with the Bile there. No Ravagers yet for NXZ.
Yeah, doesn't have the gas for it. It's just about the Roach numbers. And Roaches, I mean, that's the most important part. Ravagers add something, though. They definitely do. And these Biles, as long as he uses them sparingly, in the right place, is going to be a very good thing to just scare NXZ back. And already guarding the main base. Yeah, I actually want to see the Nidus Worm in the natural next. I don't want to see it in the main base, because RiSk's so prepared there.
Yeah, you just got to put that Nidus Worm wherever RiSk isn't. See, NXZ's Roach is getting pushed from the natural here. His main commitment over at third base. Spine Crawlers in the middle of repositioning themselves, so NXZ's going to take that opportunity to attack into here. It looks like defender's advantage might be all right for RiSk, though. The similar upgrades for both players, and those Ravagers from the backside, giving RiSk the upper hand in the engagement so far.
Rock solid defense here from RiSk, and just unbreakable. He grabbed some momentum early on. Definitely was just a little ahead in that game, was able to carry it through. So exceptional play there from RiSk, And already starting things off with a 2-0 lead. I mean, we knew he was the favorite going into this, but definitely feels like he's getting a lot done with small pokes. Every bit of scouting seems to be getting in. NXZ is going to need to do something to grab this game by the reins. Otherwise, this series will slip him by.
I'm with you, man. This has been a very one-sided series so far. It's actually kind of reminiscent of the series with Pro, where Pro kind of, started the game ahead and ended the game even further ahead. He just made very few mistakes. And NXZ, we could just see here in the replay that it's a rough start right off the bat. 7 drones going down to some hidden veins in the main base. That shouldn't work. Then we had another attack at the third, killing a few more drones. And RiSk catching wind of this attack with a nice long map to work with, getting his defender's advantage in ZVZ. Yes, he lost his spine crawlers, but they did their job. They just existed. They kept NXZ's attention spread between his defending army and the static defense. And there was no other angle for that Nidus Worm. RiSk just read him like a book.
Yeah, and if that went much longer, things were going to get worse there for NXZ. +2 on the way, the 12-13 worker advantage there for RiSk as well. Textbook defensive play, and it was the map for it as well, Eternal Empire. I do think NXZ, he can play longer games, but I think there's a little bit of fear going into a standard game against RiSk. This is a guy who can push his work account so extremely hard because he's scouting constantly and he knows when he needs to react. But until he actually sees your attack coming, he will be very greedy. He will get such a head start on you, and that's exactly what's happened in a lot of these games. So next map is Pillars of Gold. I think NXZ's got to get out there a little bit and kind of do a bit more interaction with RiSk. He's got to find a way to force RiSk to feel the lag. He's got to make him feel the mechanics. And NXZ also, I think, has just got to get in his own rhythm a little bit more. It feels like right now we're seeing him try to execute some nice theory, but just the small pieces aren't quite lining up. RiSk, he seems like he's in his comfort zone on the other hand.
Yeah, there might be a bit of weakness in the Ling Bane phase of the game that NXZ could potentially capitalize on because of latency, that sort of thing. But it feels like in ZVZ, if you're the better player and you get yourself up to the Roach Warren lair tech and you're getting to the mid to late game in ZVZ, that's when the better player will generally manage to just continue to power on through because there's a lot less that you can do to just sort of, you can't really run past them. The overlords are all out on the map. You've lost the ability to backstab without at least showing your hand to your opponent. You can't be tricky, you can't be sneaky, and they are just so good about splitting their forces, so good about picking fights and knowing when to commit as well. So, a lot of factors to consider here. We're going into game 3, potentially the last one, and I hope not.
I'm hoping that as well, Maynard. I hope we get a couple more maps here. It's scary to go into that late game. We don't see it much in our meta down here, but RiSk, I would say by far the best Viper Lurker player in the region because he brings that EU experience. Down here in the bottom left-hand side, he's looking monstrous so far in this match. It is RiSk.
He's on match point against this fine gentleman at the top right. One more life remaining in this qualifier. Is it the last life that he needs? Let's see if he can get it done. It's Ryan NXZ Jones.
This map, not the longest rush distance. It's not too short either, but there's quite a bit of a open area between the natural and the third, and just for whatever reason, I'm starting to feel like I enjoy those quick roach pushes, similar to what RiSk did in game 1, the +1 range attack with the roaches, the zerglings, the banelings. I think those sort of attacks can definitely find success here, but I don't think you're pigeonholed into anything. I don't think there's anything you get forced to do on this map. Still a lot of creative freedom for both players as they open up with the hatch gas pool.
That is the case of both players again. I guess the 12 pool drone pool thing is not going to happen in this particular ZVZ. How unfortunate. There's a few people out there that like to see that.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, if you've got the ping advantage, can you... You know what? There's no pocket to defend in on this map, on this mineral line. A lot of the time people stack their drones in the pocket to keep them safe. You can't do that in the main base. So...
Oh, yeah.
Wonder if that build becomes stronger because of that. Because the drones they have to just run away, right? They can't actually fight you in that pocket, which normally buys them quite a bit of time. Even in the natural, there's no pocket on the minerals. You'd have to go to one of the third base, to actually get that. Of course, just talking about the technical tactic where you stack all your drones into a tiny little nook in between 3 mineral patches. The zerglings can't attack them, and if they try to engage, the drones can turn and one-shot those zerglings. basically just saying, hey, you can't fight here. Yep, my drones can't mine, but at least you can't take them out. And we see a shot of that on screen there. So an interesting feature on this map, but as we mentioned earlier, not seeing those early rushes in the meta today.
No, it's been really just the most standard of plays. NXZ 2.5 minute third again, same deal for Risky, which means Bailey Nest in the natural generally. So he's getting a handful more lings here just to make sure that you know, no drones go down, that he can potentially deny scouting, that sort of thing. But as soon as Risky sees a third base and a Bailey Nest in the natural, I think he's got all the info he needs.
We are seeing NXZ move a queen down to that third as well to shoo away those Zerglings. Bailey Nest going down for both sides and continuing much in form with what we've seen so far. Extra Overlord queuing up for both players. And, you know, just these little things. Even it's just a Zergling fights 1v2 at the start of the game and then again there. It's these small little edges where they're not major, but they will add up over time. And now Risky, yeah, I think he senses victories within grasp. He's just going to hold down that Zergling key. Says, you know what, 20 Zerglings, let's go. Let's really pile the pressure on. This is going to skill check you. It's going to see if you're ready, see if you can micro it. I mean, NXZ spots it straight away, which is really nice. And Risky actually wastes a lot of time there. He's got to get across that map.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, this looks great for NXZ. He has plenty of time to get those lings up. He's got plenty of time to morph those Banes and get them positioned defensively. You can see there's two out the front of the natural there. He's got two more where that came from as well. So Risky has a single ling in the main base of NXZ, but he caught that. He's going to actually kill it. So not going to be sneaking any Baneleys on him this time. He gets the scout off, and that's it. And the attack is coming. Let's see if Risky can get it done here.
Risky, you can tell he's a bit tentative with his Zerglings. He knows that this Ling Bane micro is going to be favored for NXZ. I like that he just creates pressure, splits some Zerglings off, and plays very conservatively. They were stuck behind the queen again, were they?
Yeah, it's like, not again.
I mean, sometimes getting that queen in the wall, it saves you. A lot of the time it does, but you got to be careful. And these Banelings coming forward here, but Banelings for NXZ on both sides. He should be okay. The thing is, he doesn't have his queens out front, so I would say the one thing NXZ's missing in these skirmishes that would make his life a lot easier is that queen on the natural and third just coming on down on a control group and just sniping those two Banes. It feels like Risky's getting away with bullying him a little bit and really pulling his attention around. And this makes me worried because once again, just like game one, he's distracting NXZ. This time though, NXZ not going to be fooled. He's sending those lings across the map. He's got to spot that there's no drones on this third or that there's very few. And he'd love to spot these roaches coming out. It's going to be that big roach attack. He sees it.
Yep, sees the roach at the third base. That is the hand tipped. But NXZ's got a dozen drones on the way, Pig.
You know what? I don't even know if he looked at it as well. Did he? He did. Okay, he's got the spines on the way, but yeah, if he saw it 10 seconds earlier, I think that changes everything. But this might be too late.
I think he might have been droning a little bit too much. It's kind of game one all over again in some ways. He's got Overlords on the way. He's almost supply blocked on 74, so his production just not looking great at the moment, and he needs every single second to stop Risky's attack.
He's got to get in his natural. He's got to pull up that ramp and just bide time. Drones are going to have to abandon the third base, I feel. Unfortunately, they are all out in the open. Roach is coming out towards the natural, but this is definitely the area that he's got to hold on. Drones getting pulled out. He actually hasn't lost too many. You know what? So far, good handling by NXZ, but he can't get lured out into the open. He's trying to save those roaches that are about to pop out, but he's gone too far out. He's trying to move a spine down.
And these 3 or 4 roaches coming to the third base are also forfeit, so he's actually lost like 5 or 6 roaches immediately there at the start of this fight. Yeah. He's coming down the ramp again. Risky's still maintaining a concave out there in the open. He's completely ruling this lower ground area of NXZ's infrastructure. He's got to let the third go.
I think he has to. I mean, it's obviously not great. You don't want to lose that third and be 2 base versus 3, but sometimes you've just got to deal with the fact that I think that is the only option, and it does go down in the end. You know, good management by Risky as well, to be honest. Just getting out there. He actually droned a little bit early on behind this pressure, and he is kind of just continuing roach production. So both sides with the upgrades on the way, the lair much later. So no roach speed coming in yet for NXZ. Good Baneling defense. Actually just caught about 6 Zerglings running into the main. These 2 Zerglings aren't really going to achieve anything. But
yeah,
still non-stop. Yeah, non-stop roaches. Looks like Risky just wants to finish this series. I think he's really eager to win this one, Maynard.
I think so, and I think that he has a decent shot at it as well when +1's done, and his army has as much punch as NXZ's. He's got that extra benefit of that extra hatchery's worth of production. You know, that there was a big drone advantage to NXZ, but after that attack, that's evened out and then some. So He's gonna make as many units as he can. He's squeezing out some Lings back at home, grinding up some Ravages. NXZ, I think, is making the right call here, just being patient.
It's making
being defensive.
Lings. NXZ wants to go all in right now. Okay, this could be a problem. Obviously, this is good defensively, but if he tries to force the issue, it's going to be really bad. Now, thankfully, he sees RiSk coming across the map to him. So this is actually kind of good, because if NXZ can just kind of wait, set up an ambush, he's got a lot of Ravager Biles that can come down. He's got +1 range, but I do want to see him swap back into Roach production. These Zerglings just aren't going to scale well against the +1 attack Roach speed army of RiSk. So I almost want to see those Zerglings intercept reinforcements, get out of here, use these Biles, and start making more Roaches. NXZ, I think maybe, just maybe, he has a chance at holding on.
Yeah, the Lings actually, you know, while you usually use them for the all-in, they can assist here because they take the attention away from the Roaches and can sometimes stop them from retreating as well. The Lings are disappearing quite fast here. NXZ's Ravager count actually looking very solid at the moment, and with all those Ravagers, he has the advantage.
There's
Oh
a
no!
counter-attack in the main though. 4 Roaches slipped into the natural, and this is causing chaos. NXZ's Ravager count, like you said, dominating their front, but their main base losing all of his mining there. NXZ was so focused on surviving there, and you know he's thinking about all-inning. NXZ knows he's down a base. He doesn't realize that it's actually even workers. But he's trying to force the issue here.
Unfortunately, he loses a few of those Roaches for free to the RiSk army that's still on the low ground, on the outskirts of that high ground, coming over the backside, trying to grab some of those Ravagers. RiSk pouncing on both sides. And while that was probably the longest game in the series, it was still